The iPhone SE 4 is rumored to come out in the next few weeks. And that's interesting. The iPhone SE 4 historically has been the skeleton, the outsides of an old iPhone with the innards of the newest. But this year feels a little bit different to me. So the first iPhone SE was the innards of an iPhone 6 or 6S with the skeleton of an iPhone 5. The next iPhone SE took on the look of the iPhone 7, looks like the current iPhone SE 3 that we currently have. So the second iPhone SE had the body of the iPhone 7 with the home button and the forehead and the chin and the small screen, one camera. And then with the innards of, I think it was the iPhone 10 or 11. And now we have an iPhone SE 3. That one has the innards of the iPhone 13. Still looks the exact same as before with the body of the iPhone 7, just in some different colors. I think it's like white, black, and product red. Those were set to be somebody who wanted a more modern phone, but still missed the home button or still wanted something more, retro, something a little bit different than what everybody else with the flagship iPhones had. But now with the iPhone SE 4, it's kind of weird. The body, to me, is the body of an iPhone 13 or 14, depending on if the new SE4 is going to get a dynamic island or not. Most likely it's not, but some people are saying it is. If it does, then it's going to look like an iPhone 14 on the front. It's going to be like a 6-inch screen. It's going to be the squared off design. It's going to have either the dynamic island or a notch like the iPhone 13. The back is going to look exactly the same as an iPhone 14 or 13, but it's going to have one camera instead of the two dice-looking diagonal camera. And that's really it. So it's going to be an iPhone 14 with the innards of an iPhone 16, meaning it's going to be an iPhone 16. The iPhone 16, just the base models, have the new camera design looks similar to an iPhone 11, looks similar to an iPhone 10 or 10s, just bigger. And I really like how the new 16s look. 6.1 inches, the new colors, the squared off design. Now, there's a potential for the iPhone SE 4 to be maybe slightly thicker, to feel less flagship, to justify the cheap price. I don't know. But it's going to look like a 16 with just one camera on the back. Imagine the original iPhone SE camera, just that small circular camera, but huge. That's going to be what the iPhone SE 4 camera looks like. The body of a iPhone 13, which is also the body of a 14, which was the body of a 15 and a 16, now with just one camera, but with the insides of the iPhone 16. So my question is, what's the point? You're losing essentially just one camera. I'm sure there's more things that you're losing, but just from looking at it, the one thing you're losing is you're losing one camera. And that one camera that you're losing isn't really that vital to the phone. And also, the camera that it's supposedly getting on the SE4 is going to be really good. It's going to be able to essentially digitally mimic the second lens. And that's going to be really interesting. But why not just buy a 16 with actually two lenses? The iPhone SE 4 is rumored to also get Apple Intelligence, so it's going to have the A18 chip. It's going to have the RAM to handle Apple Intelligence. It's going to have things like that. You know, the thing that nobody uses, Apple Intelligence. It's going to have the same size screen as the 16s. And unless the iPhone SE 4 is going to be a smaller screen size than the 6.1 inches that we have on the regular 16s, then I don't see what the point of the phone is. It's just going to be a 16 with one less camera, right? Does that make sense? I feel like Apple just doesn't know what else to do. They're due for an iPhone SE, but they've kind of put themselves into a hole. I agree the home button is kind of outdated. Really, most people I know will never use the home button again. And now Apple is just getting rid of it altogether. I mean, yeah, the SE needs to have USB-C. The SE needs to have more modern things. The iPhone 13 is 3 years old now, so the innards of the 13 on the new SE is getting pretty old. They're due for a new SE, but what else can they do? I don't know. Should they just cancel the SE line? I mean, we're getting an iPhone 17 Air possibly later this year. So Apple is just continually confusing the iPhone lineup with the exact same iPhone. They're just giving us 4 new iPhones this year that are all pretty much the same. But if the iPhone SE 4 can give us a 5.9 inch screen, if it gives us, maybe a little bit thicker, maybe it's not too thin, I don't know. But if it gives us a nice camera, if it keeps the notch, I mean, maybe. But I will say, if Apple wants to release a phone that is really just the exact same phone as they released last September, but sell it for $500? Hey, I am all for it. But if the SE4 is just going to be a completely nerfed iPhone 16, it's not going to be as powerful as a 16, but it's going to be kind of as powerful as a 16, it's going to kill the sales of a 16. The iPhones nowadays are so powerful that you can't tell the difference in speed from a 14 to a 15 from the 15 to the 16. So, unless you're a tech nerd like me. So, if your grandma is choosing between an iPhone 16 and an iPhone SE4, why would she buy an $800 iPhone 16 when she could buy a $500 SE4 that's almost the exact same, just slightly less powerful, but she's not going to notice. So it's going to kill the sales of the iPhone 16, and I think that's kind of dumb. I also could be completely off base and just talking right out of my butt. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. So who is the iPhone SE4 for? Is it for the people who had the SE3 from 3 years ago, or people who had the SE2 from longer than that? Maybe. Again, but that's just an iPhone 16 that's $500 with slightly less power, slightly less battery. The SE4, because it's thicker and physically bigger, it's going to have better battery, like a 16. It's going to have USB-C to accommodate the EU laws. But other than that, I don't really see the point of the iPhone SE4. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm Jake. This is Shot on my phone.